All right. Welcome back, fishing friends, to the worldwide headquarters. Hope you guys are doing well. I tried to launch live a few seconds ago, and guess what? It had the camera doing this again. So what I had to do is go into the settings and adjust. All right, I'm just doing a little bit of tying, and not very much, just a few. And then I've got some lures I got to rearrange. What do you guys think about this polar vortex that's coming? I know people here in the North Texas area are pretty worried about it. So we'll see how that goes. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. I'm still trying to test out this live stuff. Just got done catching up on some YouTube videos. And I thought, well, I might as well work on my amateur tying again. So, oh yeah, a big shout out again to the family that provided me with some nice tying equipment here, tying material here, equipment. Oh, it's been a long day. Friends, family, coworkers, especially coworkers, they know exactly what I'm talking about, a long day. Hey, but I'm going to try to get out and do some fishing tomorrow. It's supposed to be a high of like 52, super cold, or for our area, cold in the morning. And we'll see how it pans out. I'm going to put some flash on this guy. Oops, I think I caught the camera there. All right, there we go. So, if you're new to the channel, hey, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate all the support. And Happy New Year again to everybody. I know we're 12 days in. Did I lose it? There it is. I know we're 12 days in, but I sincerely mean that. I hope everyone's new year is off to a great start, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. Excited about this polar vortex. I don't ever mind the cold weather. I know people are like, well, because you don't really have much of a winter there. Yeah, well, I mean, I agree with that for sure. We really don't. But hang on, guys. I'm out of the camera view. I think here I got to trim some of this. But it still gets cold here. I think actually we're supposed to be in the teens and maybe even single digits. Excuse me, or close to it. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So tomorrow, if there's going to be any fishing, it's going to be tomorrow. So I don't have to wake up super early to get out there where I'm going, because I know nobody will be out there. Going to be testing some drop shot stuff, some blade baits, and having some fun. All right. So the color on these is just going to be a straight feather color. All right, that looks good. It's probably not even in focus for you guys, huh? Excuse me. Yeah, don't ask me how to get the camera in focus for stuff like that. I guess if it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. All right. So we got this one done. I'm going to go through some baits real quick. Also, I've been trying to go through my boxes and getting things ready for this summer when I head up to Iowa. I almost put glue on there and I hadn't tied this off yet. Uh-oh. One more for the road. That one got away from me. Here we go. We got this one. It seems like every year I'm taking more and more tackle up there on my trips. But it's tackle I need, right? Actually, this summer, I needed it. I ran out of, almost spilled the glue, guys. I ran out of tubes, specific tube I use. So I had to order some more. Hopefully you guys can see that. That came out pretty good. Little bit of flash. You don't need much. It's puffed up like that, but it's just going to allow it to breathe. Remember, I'm not a professional lure tire, jig tire, whatever. I just do this just for fun. Trying to learn and make progress as I go along. What is this? Oh, I took the handle off. There we go. Let's get number 2 going here. So I've been going through. See, I've got a plan. There's a couple places where I fish in my spots up there that are rivers and rapids. And I always throw a tube. I throw the Nico. That kind of stuff, but I've never thrown, like I throw the Nico Helgermite, the craw, but I've never thrown any kind of crankbait or a jerkbait in there. You think jerkbait? Yeah, there's some spots in there where it would work. Now, the past couple years, the water's been really low, but the fish are still stacking up in there. And the other thing I want to try is some jerk baits, 3-4 inches and even bigger for my trout spots. Because there's a couple places around some areas there, like the hatchery, where the spring is gushing out. And it's always the same size trout, 12, maybe 14 inches. And I know they put some bigger ones in there. I know for a fact they're in there. And I want to be able to, hang on guys, let me get some of these feathers. Sorry about that. And so I want to be able to try to catch some of them I'm leaning over the trash can trying to trim that just a little bit. So I want to try to throw a crankbait for him down there where the water's really rushing, because I'll throw the meps. I've caught him on tons of meps over and over again. One time, I don't know if you guys, ooh, I almost caught the camera again. Let me get that out of the way so you're not staring at my fingers the whole time, or my fist. So, do you guys know the Maine Trout Whisperer, or it used to be Everett Lures, I think is what it was? So I'd gotten some trout crankbaits from him, and this was, golly, years ago, 2018, maybe 2019. Well, what I did was, just to try something different, I threw one of his little crankbaits in there, and I caught a couple of brook trouts, and I never caught brook trouts before. And so I was like really surprised. And I mean, I was like, wow. And so I started doing research on YouTube, and guess what? There it was, and I should have known that people, obviously catch bass on or trout on jerk baits. And, I'm still trying to figure a lot of this fishing stuff out. And I said, well, I'll keep trying it again. So I went back like 2 weeks later to a different stretch through there. And I threw that jerk bait again. And sure enough, I was getting whacked in there. This time it was by browns and rainbows. And then for a stretch, I just went back to the MEPS for a couple years. And then I got a bunch of videos in there of the MEPS. Then I tried some tenkara, which is kind of an interesting way to fish. Had a good time doing that. And then I got sick of it. And I never really had tried fly fishing. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Went back to the MEPS, and I've been with the MEPS ever since. And so this year, I want to go with the smaller jerk baits. I guess I could try one of those little mini crankbaits or a lipless or one of those small rattle traps that I got. Oh, this is going to look good. So that's the plan. Oops, I just lost it. That's going to be the plan. So I've been going through lures. I'll show you a couple of them. I don't have any fishing footage to attach to this video, but I'm live anyway, so you guys that are frozen in there and eager for any kind of fishing content, hey, come on by, stop on by anytime. Everybody's welcome. I'll show you a couple of these. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Yeah, this is going to look good right here. This little one, another one. I always thought people were dumb for putting their hand up like that when they're showing something up close for things to get in focus. And once you're live and you're trying to do it, you can kind of see, or I can kind of see what they're doing now. Forgive me, people, for all the times I was like, get your hand out of there, let it focus on its own. All right, let me get those premium stuff, guys, premium stuff. Hey, where you going? Let me make some room here. I got tons of stuff in the way. All right, so here's one of these 3700 Planos filled with jerk baits. If any of you guys do the Monster Bass subscription, you probably got this one I'm going to pull out first that I just put in there. This Hellraiser. Never in my life have I thrown one of these. So I've been watching videos on it. Look how flat that is right there. Here's your line tie. The treble. Look at that blade. A little bit of... It's made by Z-Man. It's got the Z. Look at that hair back here on this back treble. So I'm going to be throwing that this summer. Now, I'm not going to throw that for the trout. For the trout, it's going to be stuff like this, smaller. Isn't that the case when you pull stuff out? You pull the whole wad out. Anyway, so I got some Rapalas here. So stuff like this, see smaller ones like this, and I even have some smaller ones. I'm not talking about necessarily the countdown minnows. I got tons of them, guys. Tons of them. And I never throw these. What is going on here? People have given them to me. I've won them. Look at this guy, a Provoke from 6 cents. Check that out. Oof, I gotta throw that one for sure this summer. That one's gonna be, well, I could probably throw it now when the, well, temperature's getting, look at the crusty hooks on this. Golly, this is one of these ones that was given to me by my brother, who got them from I think it was from his father-in-law, who had a buddy that had retired from angling. I don't even know what this is. Any of you guys know, let me know what this is. There's no markings on it, nothing. All right, let's get to these. Oh yeah, take a look at this, the whole strand of them. So I got a whole bunch this size that I'm going to throw when I'm trout fishing. That's a Rapala right there. I think most of these are Rapalas. This little pencil neck. See, some of these are perfect for trout, because sometimes you're fishing a depth that is real shallow. And when I mean shallow, I'm talking maybe a couple feet. And in some stretches where these trout streams are in Iowa, you're like in I'm not kidding, it's about a foot to 8 inches. And the trout are working in there. And they're so busy looking at stuff that if you can creep in there close enough and cast, they're not going to see you. Now, there's been times where they've seen me and everything shuts down. Yeah, here's some more Rapalas. So, I mean, it's definitely doable. I mean, just off the top of my head, there's like 6 different trout streams. This guy's got this weird texture on here. I think this is one, if Rebel puts out any jerkbaits, this has got that same kind of Rebel-y texture to it. Oh, here's a countdown right here. What's he doing in there? All right, I got one that's really special here. Never thrown it, and I don't think I ever will throw it. This clown Rapala right here came out of my granddad's tackle box. And, you know, he passed away in 2012. He was a great walleye fisherman, as I would call a great stick, meaning for fishing. And so my bushcraft buddies, all my other friends, if you don't know what a stick is, it's somebody who's a good fisherman. So here's another. I love this color right here. So that one is, this clown one is I never fished it. I just keep it. And I should probably put it in like a little frame with a picture of him and make like some of these teachers talk about them, what do you call a shadow box or whatever. So maybe I could make one for fishing. Now check out this one. I don't really have a lot of Yozuri stuff. This is a Yozuri F. So this would be a good one to throw in those, where that outlet is, where the spring comes out. Check out this pencil neck. What does this one say? It's got a marking on it. Rapala floating. Okay, there we go. All right, then I've got some other stuff in here, some big ones for pike. Never caught a muskie, so maybe one day I will. This is another Rapala. That's a big old one right there. Look at this guy's just all banged up and beat up. Look at that back hook is a wreck. So this is one I hadn't even had a chance to fix or do anything or put hooks on that came from... Sorry guys, I'm going to try to trim this over the trash can. There we go. I hadn't even had a chance to swap the hooks out on this guy. It's blue chrome. What is that, Excalibur? Is that what the X is? All right. Somewhere in here is that one little one I found the other day when I was fishing it over, when I went to do that. Here's a monster bass one. This one's really cool. When I went and did that trip over to Louisiana to Bacon's Baits over there, I stopped at that Caddo State Park and I had a snag and I pulled it free, and it turned out that it was, I said it was a jug line, how everything was all coiled in there, and it felt like there was a jug had like been inundated with mud and stuff, and it came out, and it was just a crankbait or a jerkbait that was stuck there. All right, this whole wad of stuff, these are the Smithwicks. I had a bunch more Smithwicks, but I traded a bunch of them to my cousin Graham. I love this color. Yep, these are vintage. These are from the 80s. Maybe one or two from the 90s. This is how I got them, with these from the guy, the angler guy that gave them all to my brother. It says Rogue right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Anyway. So I had that little one I rescued. It was a Rapala. It's in here somewhere. Check out this little one. You can always tell these Smithwicks because they had that texture on there. Cool stuff. Yeah, these need to be painted. I touched them up with gray fingernail polish. But you guys already know, if I decide to send them somewhere, I'm sending them over to Blake at Dark Corner Custom Baits. That was in the last, pretty sure the last video I showed. Where he had salvaged some of them. And I had a nice gentleman put a comment in there that made a comment on that Rebel, that he'd thrown them quite a bit. I think he said it in the 90s and the 80s. Yeah, this one, I don't have a clue what this is. So I'm sorry that I can't remember who that was that left that comment about the Rebels, that spotted that one. Man, any of these you know. Or if Epic Eric, you're out there. Smithwick. Oh yeah, speaking of those Epic Eric, I caught that bass after dark last night. It was a good show. Which was the worst fishing lure of all time? Guys, it was excellent. Brian the Carpenter was the MC because old Ken was gone. So you had an all-star lineup of guys. Epic Eric was a co-host in there. He always does a great job. He's a lure guru. So it was, if you've never watched that on YouTube or heard the podcast, Bass After Dark, you got to check it out. Premium stuff in terms of bass. All right. So this box, oops, hit them, is my 6 cents box, 6 cents. So in here I got a whole bunch of the Crush 100s, all that good stuff. I've got the Thuds. Never really thought much or did anything with 6 cents until the last year. I think in one of my videos, not even the last year, this one's got a cool scale pattern on there. It wasn't even the last year, guys. It was gosh, not even that long. Oh, the decals. These little decals are coming off. Now, these come from that grab bag, that garage sale bag. And so some of these are ones that they're, maybe colors are going to discontinue. But I like the colors. A bunch of the ones I got in here were that Jank Juice from the Baitman. Man, I think the colors are great, even though they may be things that are, I don't know, they tell you on there, they might be, the packaging might be defective or whatever, but it's for 99 bucks, you're getting just about $200 worth of baits. That's not a bad color. None of the ones they put in here is a color that I would consider iffy to sell. I mean, all of these are great. To be honest, guys, I call them helmet heads because the plastic is so thick. I mean, these are tough. Probably my other favorite ones of their line are the Curve 55 because it reminds me of the rock crawlers and the old wiggle warts. I got a couple wiggle warts, wee wart and one of those big warts. I don't have a single color in here. Even this one is the more flamboyant one, but there's nothing wrong with chartreuse and blue. All the colors that came in that garage sale bag are just fine. I mean, none of them I would ever question. These are just awesome baits. And you know, I heard Baitman talking about this in his latest video, that somebody was talking about 6 cents. And I guess Rapala had purchased them, the majority interest in it. I can't forget about these. The lipless. Come on, get out of there. Get out of there. There we go. They got good hooks on them too. A lot of times, this front hook, I'll just snap that right off. So then you're only dealing with 2 hooks here. Kind of helps it. I don't want to call it pure weedless, but, or I change them out and I put singles. People are like, you're crazy, man. You're putting singles on a lipless or a crankbait. Hey, I catch fish using the single hooks. Never had any problems with them. But what the bass that I caught in the last video was on that lipless, and had single hooks. All right, guys, so this is this beast of a KVD, what is this, the 10? The rattle in there sounds like an actual marble. But I threw this on the coast. Oh, this is the 8XD, not the 10. 8XD. I threw this on the coast down at Corpus Christi. Had one bite. It didn't stick. This is the bull shad that comes from the Catch Co. And this one's, I put singles on it, and I've caught fish on it with singles. Never an issue with the singles. The reason I come up with the singles is because a lot of times trout fishing, you're in areas where you can only use the like one hook or barbless. When I was in New Mexico, I had to do that. Well, so I got used to it, and I got a bunch of MEPs that have the single hook, and you saw me put the spark shad on them. Well, I don't know when it was, a few years ago, I started putting the single hooks on them. They worked just fine. All right, here's another Rebel. This is what I'm talking about, that texture. You can kind of see the striations on it. This is another Rebel. So that nice gentleman that commented on the Rebel that I had custom painted, here's another one. And I've got a couple in here, guys. I have no clue who makes them. So as I was talking about Bass After Dark, like maybe Epic Eric or those guys, look at this thing. There's no markings on the bill, nothing. So if you know what this one is, that color, I'll try to get it in closer on the bill. See, there's nothing there. This is one of the ones that was gifted to me. But that's a sick color right there. And he's got a buddy with him. Oh, this one's a Rapala. I can see it. But check this one out. Something's up with this. Look at, it's like the bill is cracked on the sides. Or like the glue. I guess that's just how it is. It's really rough. It's weird. It looks like it got cracked. I hadn't tried to swim this one. It may not even swim true. But it's an orange with a lighter orange. Kind of like a sun-kissed orange. All right, and here's another Rebel for the gentleman that was helping me out. Check that out. I love that color right there. With that pattern. And look how that eye shimmers like that. Man, that's good stuff. I don't really collect lures, but when you're given some, you kind of... This one's a Poe, I think. Yeah, one of these Poes, RC1. Never thrown this one. It's never hit the water yet. I just have got too much stuff, and I'm always testing other things. No comment needed on this big guy. Look at that. You can tell by those bug eyes. Same thing with this guy. But look, I got to get some hooks on him. Here's the other bug-eyed. So you guys know what these are. No introduction needed. Man, this one's in good shape. Anyway, so those are some of the crankbaits. And the Bass After Dark show, check it out, guys. Watch it and listen to it. They did a good job. So, Epic Eric and those guys, I think Batiste was there. They're experts with a lot of these lures, and I'm me, just casual fisherman, have learned so much. Listen to the Smallmouth Crush podcast, to Bass After Dark, the Bait Man. And no, I'm not really into collecting lures, but I was curious about these ones that I had because I didn't have a clue, and I still don't have a clue what some of them are. But, it was great to tune in and listen to their knowledge, some of the great stories. So if you're looking for podcasts this winter, Bass After Dark, Smallmouth Crush, I'm usually in there chatting it up, mainly listening to those guys. They have some great content. Of course, the Bait Man. And with all these lures, I got to get them in the water and start testing them and throwing them. I need to just have fun with it or not be afraid I'm going to lose them. I've got some spots up there, like on the Red River and Lake Texoma, where I can throw them, and I don't think that I would lose them. But just to say, hey, I threw this, I threw that, and have a good time with them. All right, let me see any other big news besides, the polar vortex, the snowstorm. That's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. I think that's pretty much it. I'm just going to try to keep fishing. I'm back at, the swing of things from work, so I can't really get out in the evenings because we're still getting dark fairly early. I think though, January we pick up 37 more, or since January we're going to pick up 37 more minutes of light, and then the next February it'll be another, I don't know, like 42 minutes or something. So I'll be able to start creeping out there, and then as we head into March, I'm going to probably head down to the coast and get some fishing in and work on these. I found out that these are from one of those Chinese brands. Somebody said that these are on Temu, one of my bushcraft buddies. How he knew that, I have no idea. Ooh, I gotta show something to my bushcraft buddies. Hang on a second, guys. Here we go. This gem came in a gift from my brother, this Real Tree Fishing. Check out this blade. Look at that. 100%. It's going to make it out on some fishing adventures. It's got that really cool ergonomic handle. So, anyway, speaking of bushcraft buddies, he was pointing out how these jig heads are a company that sells stuff on Temu, comes out of China, Doveson. So I got these on Amazon, and they've been perfect for tying the crappie jigs. And I need to get through this. I thought about doing a live and just finishing the whole box. I think I said that around Christmas, doing the rest of them. But I just hadn't had a chance to do it. The eyes are sitting right down here. So I've been putting the eyes on things. These are dry now. So I'll be putting the eyes on them. Little eyeballs. Put him there. I've got a little drying rack set up over here. And I painted all my jig heads. Hey, what's up, buddy? Doing good. Thanks for dropping in. Yep. Anyway, so I got all my football heads painted. Did like some black, did some gray with the nail polish. Then I put the hardener on there. Got all those done. So I'm set with terminal tackle, all that stuff for probably about 2 years. Lures, I think I'm pretty much set for I don't know how many years. So I've got enough tubes now to last me all the way through, not this summer coming up, but the next summer and probably beyond. And but you know how it is, you always start collecting tackle and you get more. I don't want to say like collecting like vintage tackle, but you know, when you get new tackle in, you want to try different stuff like the Rhythm Wave. I was trying that out for a few weeks. I was trying out some different Z-Man stuff. Then I got into a phase where I was throwing nothing but spinner baits. You saw that the other day where I caught one on a spinner bait a couple videos ago. I put my first skirts on spinner baits. So I had a couple ones with white skirts, and one of them I took that skirt off, and the pack of 2 skirts I got from Bacon's, that purple color, I put one of those on, and then the other one I saved some of the white parts of the collar, a little bit on each side and one on the bottom, and I put the other purple skirt on there. So the skirt material, I had never put one of those on before, and it turned out pretty good. So I'll be fishing with those coming up. In fact, maybe tomorrow if things work out right. So I'll have to get up and see what the temperature. I don't want to go out there with, you know, if it's in the 20s, because we're going to be like in the high 20s in the morning. Now, if it's mid-30s, I don't mind going out there. So I'll just have to kind of check the weather. But we'll see how that goes. I don't have the spinners right here. I'll have to show them when I'm out there fishing. I don't have them right here where I can just show you. I got so many tackle trays worth of stuff that it's buried over there somewhere. All right, so check out those podcasts, Bass After Dark, Test Your Lures. I'm going to be testing lures, identifying stuff, trying to get through these crankbaits and jerkbaits that I rarely throw. I think I've got my confidence built up in them because over the last few weeks, and I know it's not the right time to throw some of them, but just to get some practice in. So I've been throwing them to build confidence. And like I was saying, up there in Iowa where these rapids are, I've got a ton of videos in there where you'll see me fishing in some of these spots. I'm going to try to throw the square bills. I don't care. I'll even throw a crankbait or a jerkbait in there to see what happens. Especially one of those ones where the current comes down and just bomb it in there and just twitch that thing in there. I'm sure I'm going to get some hits in there. So I've got maybe 15, 20 locations already set up, ready to go when I get up to Iowa. And then, of course, the Mississippi River. I'm only there for like maybe 2 hours at a stretch. So, and I made some videos there. Like this summer, I think I caught a huge crappie, a pike on a Mep Cyclops. So what I want to do is get out there with some more lures. Oh, what's this thing? I was thinking, hey, is this coming unraveled? It's a Power Pro 15 that I've been using here. When I get up to Iowa, I switch to 20 because of the pike. So, I'm telling you guys, I love catching pike. I know a lot of people hate catching pike and pickerel that are all into bass fishing. I love fishing for pike. Probably my favorite fish to fish for. Anyway, so the Mississippi, I'm going to try to spend the whole day there. I'm going to pack a lunch, and I'm going to work on, because it's one of the, you can see the main channel, but one of the side channels comes through, and there's a ton of fish that work through there. And I'm going to try the different jerk baits, crankbaits, the bladed jigs, different things that I can really test one day. And if I catch something, I catch something. If I don't, I don't. I'm still going to have fun. And I'll bring some night crawlers because there's a ton of these huge bluegill. So I'm going to be catching a bunch of those and having a good time doing that. Anyway. All right, let me think. Anything else I want to throw in there? Hey, for you guys, let me know what you've been fishing for and catching. Any new baits that you've got? You know, have you ever used a crankbait or a jerkbait in like rough water like that? I know guys do it all the time. I try to watch videos to see how they'll throw it into that rough water and they'll bring it through right along the edge of the seam of like where an eddy is. Because those fish sometimes will be just sitting in the eddy waiting for, watching that edge, watching the current for stuff to float down. And they'll go out and just crush things. But some of the places where I fish, the smallmouth loves sitting in the rapids there. It's like fresh air to them. So anyway, I'm getting all geeked up about fishing this summer. But here coming up pretty soon, I need to go back up to Oklahoma, do more drop shot fishing, crappie fishing up there. And I've got like 7 or 8 good spots here that I've been going to. And I just need to, I've got one lake that I need to work on my punching skills, punch rigs. And I was there about right before Christmas. Had one hooked up on the Big Bite Baits BFE. Lost him. So I'm going to need to keep working on my punch rigs. I've been using, the tungsten flipping weights. But then I've also got these EWGs that have the weight built into them. I know people are like, nah, don't use those. That's not the real deal. But I want to test them out. I've never used them before. So I'm going to throw those. And so I'm pretty much set as long as the wind, you want to have a little bit of chop. But if the wind is manageable, I'll get out there. The cold temperature I can deal with. Unless we're in the 20s, because anything where there could be moisture down there, where it's frozen, and there's a chance of me slipping on ice, I don't want to mess with that. So like tomorrow, I know some of the spots I go to are always damp, and I bet you they're going to freeze. So maybe after lunch, I get out there and, they'll have melted off by then. But anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Hey, thanks for hanging around. Always good stuff. Sorting tackle, going through tackle. The other thing is watching my old videos to see what kind of techniques I did and mistakes I made. So anyway, it's good stuff. Watching videos that you guys have been putting out there. North Dakota Yak Angler. He hadn't put one out in a while, but I love watching that. Sassafras, Drag 'em Out. Drag 'em Out's been just making some great videos, guys. Drag 'em Out Fishing. Go check out his stuff. He's been doing some cool stuff. And the Adrian Webb over in Australia doing his trout fishing. Top-notch stuff. I asked him today if he ever sees those platypus swimming around. I think he might have had a video where he saw one. I've never seen one alive or up close before, not even in a zoo. And of course, I've never been to Australia. And I'd be scared to death to go out into the bush there because of those 18 or 19, 20-foot crocs. Anyway. All right, guys. As a wise man that I know once said, it's a bad day to have a pig eye on you. So with that, I'll let you think about that. And have fun out there catching all of the stuff you're going to be catching this weekend. Hey, if you're frozen, stuck in the ice up there, start doing this. Tie your own. It's a lot of fun. I'm terrible at it, but I have a lot of fun, and that's the main thing. The good thing is some of my buddies that are outdoor, they're like into mountain biking. My other buddies are into bushcraft stuff. They're like, dude, we can't tie lures. We wouldn't have a clue how to start. We'd have to watch your stuff to be able to figure that out. And so that kind of made me chuckle. I was like, well, I guess it, as much of as a noob, I guess is what you call it, or a rookie or a amateur at doing this. There's always people who have never done it, never even tried. So even with me messing stuff up, I got to do a few more with this crazy sparkle thread right here. I had this one. Oops, I just almost knocked the phone over. Come on. I had it rigged up in this, and the line came out of the end, and there's just no way to push it back through. So I almost had it because I wet my fingers and I cut a piece of the other thread off, and it stuck to it, and I tried to feed it with like the other one to guide it through. Almost had it, and this end started kinking up and it wouldn't go through. So I don't know. That one I just have to manually pull it from pull it off and get it in there and then tie it that way, which, it's no big deal. I could do that. All right. Hey, I'm going to jump out of here. I know it's not exciting just to sit and see somebody talk and go through stuff, but with the winter time, crazy weather today, it was here in the North Dallas area. It was cold for this area. I mean, the wind was just howling, and it was tough stuff out there. So what's the best thing you can do? Watch YouTube videos on fishing, listen to guys talking about their area, their stuff, what they're doing. So any new orders that I had come in, the Flippin' Delight from Beast Coast, they were on back order. The black color, it's their beaver style, and the kind of a dark June bug looking thing color. So I finally got those. Actually, I got some OW snipers sitting right here. OW is in open water. If you've never tried them, got to pick some up. This one is Sexy Melon, and then this one's Dirtbag. Let's see if I can get the old Dirtbag out. I think I showed you guys these the other day on the Christmas live stream. Come on. Man, this is just premium skirt material. And so even with this, check out that. The head on that thing is just smooth. Even with this, I'll come in with my trusty scissors here. Swiss Army knife guy. This is the classic. You got to get one. Everyone's got to have one of those. And I'll even trim this up so it's a little thinner. Put a Smalley Beaver on there. A lot of people are wanting to throw that that little craw from Great Lakes Finesse. I think it looks cool, but I'm going to stick with a Smalley Beaver. Anyway, so here we go. We got these. Grab some, guys. It's a sneaky little jig, and they're just so awesome to throw. They're a lot of fun. I've lost like 6 of those. So, and it just drives me nuts every time. One time I got one snagged and I was able to save it and pull it out of there. That's when I had the 20-pound braid right at the start of was when I came back from Iowa. But now that I'm using this 15-pound braid and the 12-pound fluoro, it just snaps it too easy and I can't work it out of there. Really, with these bass around here, I should be going down to like 8-pound braid. Probably even get away with 5-pound braid. But, to a fluorocarbon leader. But I hadn't done it. I'm fishing around some rocks and things. And I I like having that little bit thicker line there. All right, that's going to wrap it up, guys. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me, those that swung by. I know a lot of people are out, especially in my area here, trying to get out tonight and have fun because it's just going to be wrecked with that polar vortex coming in. So, crazy stuff coming up. I got to try to get some fishing in tomorrow. That's all I know. All right, guys. Until next time, I will see you then. And bye-bye. Go out there and get your lures wet and have fun. Bye-bye.